Right now, I'm going to give you a couple or few super compelling reasons why you should absolutely, positively get Apple's ultra new, ultra thin, ultra light iPhone Air, and a couple just as bright red neon flags that'll either push you to save some cash on the regular iPhone 17 or go all the way in for the iPhone 17 Pro. And at the very, very end, I'm going to tell you just what exactly I bought and why. 1. The iPhone Air really is really light. See, everyone focuses on Apple's Johnny Ive era obsession with thinness, but that's always just been a side effect of the true goal. Lightness is just such a huge W for usability. It's never really mattered how much better battery life was if you couldn't hold up the phone long enough to actually watch a long movie on a plane, or game in a waiting room, or doom scroll in bed without worrying about a concussion when the huge slab of foam slipped and fell and slammed into your face. It's why the iPhone 5 ditched the dock port for Lightning, why it felt more like a dummy model from a carrier display than an actual phone with actual phone guts inside. And it's why everyone who complains that they should just shove more battery mass inside is equaled and opposited by someone who complains the phone is just way too heavy when they actually want to use it. Sure, any company that eventually wants to field a foldable has to also solve for thin, and this might just be a very smart testbed step along the way for that. But for now, today, if light is just right for you, get the iPhone Air. 2. The iPhone Air is the state of Apple's silicon art. The plain glazed version of the iPhone 17 has the A19 system on a chip, Apple's latest generation silicon. But what it doesn't have is A19 Pro, Apple's latest and greatest next generation of silicon. The iPhone Air has that, and all the extra perf, real and theoretical, that comes along with it, which, for nerds, is always a reason to put just a few more bills in Apple's already massive money bin. Likewise, the chocolate-dipped, cream-filled version that is the iPhone 17 Pro has a Qualcomm X80 5G modem, which, in fairness, is what a lot of people desperate to catch and hold a signal spent a lot of years asking for. What it doesn't have is C1X, Apple's variant of their debut in-house cellular 5G modem, which probably isn't as universally performant as the Qualcomm, but is faster and more efficient than the C1 NoX. Plus, it also comes in black and keeps the titanium rails, which this year, the iPhone 17 Pro decidedly do not. So if peak Apple is what you seek, also get the iPhone Air. But the thinness does come at a cost, and not just a money cost. First, less phone means less battery. Sure, the iPhone Air compensates like a champ by shoving some of those guts up into the camera bump, which, by the way, Apple got even the sauciest and saltiest of tech nerds to start calling a plateau. Like that's the term we've all been using for years now, and in about 5 minutes. So props to the marketing team. But you can never really cheat physics. That bill always comes due. And the iPhone Air battery is probably fine for some 9-to-5ers or constant chargers, but won't be enough for the real grab and go hard heavy hitters. And yes, Apple was super smart to hedge with an all new, all exclusive Smart Air battery pack. So you can slap it on, slap it off when you need it or don't. But that's always less juice and more hassle than just being built in, especially because it has all that state-of-the-art hardware and with less thermal envelope for it to be so state-of-the-art in, which means that top-of-the-line A19 Pro will have to ramp back down, and fast, because the heat radiating from it has nowhere to go. Also no 6th GPU core, and no, I can't believe they all caps finally added a vapor chamber, like the Pro, to help it go and go and go. And that may not matter for your phone-based workloads, especially if they're more bursty than brute force, but think about how much you actually do and how long you actually do it for, even for seemingly simple things like taking photos and videos at a stretch, especially since iOS is going through its awkward almost 20s period, and things like active notifications are making iPhones burn hotter and faster than a restore anytime they pop up. Like, call for an Uber and watch and see if your battery finishes before your ride does. So if you want max sustained performance and battery life without any strife, go for the iPhone 17 Pro. And second, the cameras, or rather camera, because the iPhone Air has but one. It's a good one, good optics, good electronics, good computational X, but it's just one, not two like the iPhone 17 nothing, and certainly not three like the iPhone 17 Pro. And since for the vast majority of people, the best camera is still the one that they have with them, for those people, They need the camera they have with them to be the best. So think about the types of shots that you've been taking, because the Air can't zoom out ultra wide like the regular or Pro and can't zoom in telephoto like the Pro. All it can do is sneaker zoom, meaning your ass walks backwards or forwards if physically safe and possible to do so. Also, no macro, no LiDAR, no ProRAW, which I'm guessing is because of the envelope-induced performance. And I don't even use it, but like any nerd, I still want it. But it's also not the first time I think people who feel like the compromise is worth it will ultimately feel like it's not. So iPhone Air, smash or pass. I'll get to what I got in just a sec. But strategically, it does feel like Apple is finally figuring out the iPhone alt. The OG iPhone SE was a success, but it was never clear if it was because it was cheaper or smaller. And spoiler, both, plus design nostalgia. iPhone 5C showed you couldn't just be unabashedly cheaper, at least not in that way. And iPhone mini showed you just couldn't be smaller, at least not in that way. Ditto plus with bigger but non-pro-er. iPhone Air feels like it has those iPhone 10 glimpse of the future vibes, but not an anniversary bound vibes. And while it's less, it's also more, and not just in terms of money. It's also not the iPhone 17 Air, like next year probably won't be the iPhone 18 Fold. Well, after that will almost certainly be the iPhone 20. But that does give Apple a lot of room to test not just upper and lower elasticity in the market, but finally some diagonal up instead of down. So what that means for me is I'm going with the Air. See? It's so thin. You can't even see. I'm kidding. We all know I've gone Pro. They had me at max battery, max performance, and you know it, they had me at orange. The iPhone Air looks and feels just hella cool, and I'm certain there'll be a lot of iPhone Air people for those very reasons. But for me, the Pro Max is just right.